Riverside is number 32, a 6'2 senior from Chicago, Illinois, Maurice Pullum. At the other guard for Iowa is a 6'6 senior from Flint, Michigan, number 23, Roy Marble. At the other guard for UC-Riverside, a 6'4 senior from Santa Ana, California, number 33, Chris Jackson. For Iowa at forward, a 6'8", 230-pound senior from Springfield, Illinois, number 25, Ed Horton. At forward for Riverside, a 6'4 senior from Los Angeles, California, number 14, Jimmy Shorters. At the other forward for Iowa, a 6'5 freshman from Summit, Illinois, number 32, Ray Thompson. Forward for UC-Riverside, a 6'5 senior from Lemoore, California, number 20, Pat Vieira. And the starting center for Iowa is a 7-foot junior from Bull Bells, North Dakota, number 51, Les Jepson. Starting center for UC-Riverside, a 6'7 sophomore from Fontana, California, number 35, Sean Sheehan.
We'll be back with first half action after this from our local station. Tonight's officials, all from the state of Hawaii, Pat Tanibe, along with Craig Peterson from the Western Athletic Conference, and a local official, Alan Dowie, who works NAIA games. We trust that your Christmas was a pleasant one. Hope you enjoyed the holiday, and now you will enjoy Hawkeye basketball tonight from Honolulu, where it was a beautiful day with a temperature in the upper 80s. Jepson at 6'11", jumps against Sheehan at 6'7". UC-Riverside, a very short basketball team, but they control the opening tap.
It looked like Jepson actually got the tap, but Eddie Horton did not get to it in time, and now look for Riverside really to put him up.
And this is what they're going to do all night. That's they live and die by the three, and Pat Vieira hits one, and the Highlanders have the first 3 points in the ball game. They have never played a ranked Division I team. Marble on the turnaround with the miss, and coming up with the rebound for Riverside is Pat Vieira. And another three attempt, and it is in and out by Pullum. Here's B.J. Armstrong. He's Iowa's leading scorer on the season and in the tournament. Has scored 43 total points in tournament play. Horton on the follow, and the Hawkeyes now back within 1 and 3-2.
Marble's injury is to his left shoulder, so it should not bother his shooting particularly unless he really has to stretch across for the guiding hand on the shot.
That, by the way, was the 27th rebound for Eddie Horton. What a job he has done. A three-pointer banged home by Vieira. He's hit a couple of them, and it is a 6-2 lead for Riverside. We talked about it before the game. They believe in a perimeter offense, and thus far, exclusively a perimeter offense.
And Vieira is to be guarded by Jepson. Les has got to come out, flash a hand at him. Otherwise, they're going to have a substitute come out with more quickness on that perimeter. And you will not see Riverside use zone, or if they do, we've got a scoop, because they are strictly man-to-man. They don't even practice zone.
Thompson from just inside the three-point line hits from the outside. So Iowa showing perimeter game of their own, and it's a 6-4 lead for Riverside. Riverside has played Division I teams in their history. In fact, their coach, John Massey, has gone up against Tom Davis twice when Davis was at Stanford, and Stanford came up with lopsided wins both times. Massey very much an admirer of the Hawkeyes head man. The three was hit by Vieira, but inside a violation was spotted, and a foul called against Iowa, I believe, before the shot.
And Vieira came off that screen, went ahead and took the shot anyway. He made it. That'd have been 3 for 3 from three-point range. And the substitution takes place. Tubbs in for Jepson. Brigg is going to have to definitely go out and guard Vieira.
It was Jepson who drew the foul the game's first. And inbounding will be Pat Vieira. He's a senior from Lemoore, California, transferred from a junior college, the College of the Sequoias. But was considered a Division I player, at least by Texas A&M. Ray Thompson coming up for the block.
I'll tell you, he has moved into a sophomore year. We talked a bit about that last night. He doesn't play like a freshman anymore. He is averaging 71% from the field since he's become a starter.
And 14 points a ball game. That is not freshman-like play. Iowa a chance to tie it up with a 2 or go ahead with a 3 as BJ brings it up. Again, Riverside, a lot of matchup problems. Their tallest player is 6'7". The lob inside, and Marble comes up a little bit short, and it will be Riverside basketball. The Highlanders out of the edge of the Mojave Desert in Riverside, California. There's Tom Davis. He's now become the 7th all-time winningest coach in Hawkeye history. And for the first time, the Highlanders must face Iowa pressure. In their division, this is a national caliber basketball team, and that's Division II. The shot hit by Maurice Pullum, the only non-Californian on the roster. He's out of Chicago. And it's all Riverside thus far as they jump to an 8-4 lead.
One thing to know about Riverside, even though it's Division II, it's made up primarily of Division I transfers.
Here is Tubbs. The rebound by Horton, his second, both offensive rebounds. Tubbs tries to go back up with it, but travels, and Riverside gets the basketball. The top 7 players for the Highlanders are transfers. And you've got to remember, California is blessed with many, many great athletes. And so, you know when you play a California team, they're going to be excellent athletically. In deep, it is Jimmy Shorters, the reverse layup. And it's bothered by Ed Horton, and Horton comes up with his 3rd rebound. Iowa trailing at 8-4. 3 minutes have been played.
Iowa a bit sloppy. That could be due to a couple reasons. One, they've had to work hard for 2 games. They might be a little tired. The other, they did not practice today. They really didn't go through a walk around at all. They just went into a room, looked at some film, and discussed some of the strategy they wanted.
In deep, it is Sheehan, and he tries to put it up, and Ed Horton has to lay off of him as Sheehan connects. Sean Sheehan, just a sophomore, really just developing in his basketball career. Didn't play much as a freshman last year. He gets 2 down, and it's a 6-point lead for Riverside. Their coach, John Massey, said his team's approach to this game, they didn't even talk about winning or losing, just about the thrill of playing the nation's 4th-rated team, and thus far, they're anything but intimidated. In and out by Pullum, and it's Hawkeye basketball as Jepson comes back in. Wade Garner will also come in for the Hawkeyes, and Wade Luckingbill, who hit 2 clutch free throws down the stretch against St. Louis, also checks in. And what a performance that was at the line by Luckingbill in the waning moments of the game last night.
Sure was, Larry. At the timeout, I asked Wade after the game, what'd you think about? Wade says, I thought about Christmas decorations, ornaments, lights, anything but the free throw. And then he went out and he said, then all I can do was think about it. Take a deep breath, get the legs into the shot. And he said, I'm just glad they went in.
Well, he coolly put them both in. Nice job by Shorters to break up the play, but Thompson comes back up with it for Iowa. And a Riverside player is down. An injury timeout taken by the officials. It looks like a knee problem by Riverside, and that is Jimmy Shorters, their starting forward, a 6'4" senior from Los Angeles. Maybe we can see how it happened.
His rib cage goes into the knee of one of his teammates, and that right side of that rib cage is hurt. And also the knee, a little bit limping, is Sabalas. So 2 Riverside players get injured on the same play.
Sabalas just came in at the last dead ball, and there is Shorters. And we have a timeout with 16:03 left to play in the first half, and we'll be right back. Sabalos is the leading scorer, but comes off the bench for Cal Riverside. And that's a long-time theory of Coach John Massey. He believes his second-best player should be his 6th man. That gives them a lift at a juncture in the game when he feels they might need it. Luckingbill fumbling the pass from Gardner. 15:44 to go first half, and the Hawkeyes down early by 6. Jepson, Moses, Thompson, Garner, and Luckingbill in the lineup right now for Iowa. So the only experienced player is Jepson, and he's not very experienced. Garner on the drive, and with the rebound for Cal Riverside is Maurice Pullum. In deep, goaltending will be called on John Thompson, and the basket by Sabalos good. Ray Thompson coming up with the goaltend.
And the responsibility of the point guard is to get back. Brian Gardner did not get back for defensive purposes, and it took Thompson coming from behind to slap it away. They called the goaltending.
Just had a look at John Massey in his 10th year as the head coach at Cal Riverside. Now the seniors have come back in for Iowa. Armstrong, Horton, and Marble are in. Ray Thompson, who started, is also there, and the only non-starter is Wade Luckingbill. He finds Eddie Horton. Horton with his own rebound. That is rebound number 4. Basket number 2 for Eddie Horton.
Well, there's no question about the quickness. Eddie Horton can beat his man inside. The Hawkeyes, though, have to look for some perimeter shots, have to get some rhythm going on their quarter court offense. You can't rely on just Ed Horton inside.
Bringing it down is Chris Sabalos. He has a brother who plays at Cal Fullerton, and Sabalos started his career there. Hawkeyes with a 3 against 1 break. Horton getting the pass a bit wide from Thompson, and consequently it's stolen from behind by Chris Jackson. The other way comes Riverside, and a foul is spotted. Wade Lookingbill back there trying to stop the fast break of the Cal Riverside Highlanders. And the foul was called on Armstrong.
Again, the responsibility for getting back on defense as Armstrong makes a flash at the penetrating Riverside player. But he's got to be able to either stop him, make the man pass it back, allow other Iowa players to retreat and get inside.
Maurice Pullum, who scored 30 points in 2 games in this tournament, now has 3. Pullum started his college career at Wisconsin Green Bay and then went to Ventura Community Junior College and won a state championship in California before coming to UC-Riverside. Thus far, Cal Riverside has led all the way. Their current lead is their biggest at 8. They had led by 8 at one earlier point in the game. Armstrong, good job to fake Pullum into the air, but can't buy the shot. Ceballos against Armstrong. And he is fouled. Shot would have counted had it gone. Moses commits the foul, and Iowa already guilty of 4.
And it's pretty obvious at this point that Iowa probably did not take Riverside as seriously as they should have or could have. They are just not getting back on defense time and time again. Riverside has the numbers advantage.
Ceballos, a super sub for Riverside, averaging 12 points. That leads the team, and also a team leading 5.5 rebounds. And a change for Cal Riverside is coming into the lineup is Steve Harrington. He's a junior from Riverside, averaging just a point a ball game. And he will take the place of Sean Sheehan. The Riverside lead now is 9, their biggest of the game. 14:24 to play in the first half, and the Hawkeyes find themselves again in the situation of having to play from behind, something not unfamiliar to them in this tournament. Horton bustles in. Lookingbill had the rebound, knocked out of his hands, and it will be Iowa ball.
Hawkeyes rely on those 3 seniors for a lot of points. So far in this game, just 2 for 9, and Armstrong and Marble have yet to score.
Into the lane goes Horton. And he dishes it off, and a fine basket by Lookingbill. Wise move by Eddie Horton. Lookingbill comes up with 2. Against full court pressure, Pullum trying to dribble up. And it will be Riverside ball.
In order for Iowa's pressure to be very effective, Larry, you know they've got to score. If Iowa cannot score, you're playing into Riverside's hands, which is they want to get the ball and run off the missed basket.
Vieira looks to trigger. Armstrong goes for the intercept, but coming up with it is Maurice Pullum. At the top it is Harrington. BJ now working against Ceballos. Ceballos 4 inches taller. And hitting the shot is Maurice Pullum. That is the 3rd three-point goal for the Highlanders early, and they now stretch the lead to 10. I was going to say earlier, as the foul is called on Riverside, and it's their first, and drawing the foul, Pat Vieira, is that a couple of things working against the Hawkeyes as Jepson comes in. One, that California teams always have great athletes. Second of all, how many major upsets occur in Hawaii? There seems to be something about playing out here, about trying to concentrate, about teams you haven't heard of, that makes some big upsets occur, and Iowa's got to fight through that.
I think a lot of times you get teams you've never heard of. And when that happens, rated teams will take them lightly, plus the distraction of the beach and the warm weather in the middle of the winter back at the Midwest. That for like a California team, the weather's not a big change for them.
Harrington with the foul, his first. The bench for Riverside wanted to travel on Jepson, who did a good job warding off the attacks of the Highlanders to keep possession of the ball. And now we'll go to the line. Les is a 50% free throw shooter on the season, 8 out of 16. Iowa down by 10. And the Hawkeyes have missed their first free throw opportunity tonight. Ray Thompson comes back in, and he'll replace James Moses.
And that's a bit unusual, Larry. You just mentioned first free throw opportunity, 6.5 minutes into a game. Usually by now, Iowa would have had other free throw chances.
In fact, in the season, Iowa has hit 207 free throws. Their opponents have only attempted 140. So usually the pattern is, as Mac described it. Iowa back to within 9. Ray Thompson comes up with a steal. Here's BJ finding Marble. First bucket for Roy, and Iowa back to within 7 at 18-11.
Looked like Roy got away with a little hop jump to get himself in position to go up for that shot.
Thompson nearly comes up with a steal. Pullum fires a three. Horton with the rebound. Iowa running now 4 against 3. And it will be given to Cal Riverside, and Roy Marble thought it was chopped away from behind. I would have to agree with Roy.
Certainly looked like a Riverside player put his hand down in there. Whether Marble touched it last or not, I couldn't tell from this angle.
Iowa comes up with a slick steal, and Ray Thompson hits the basket. Let's see if it'll count. He is also charged with a foul. The officials confer to determine if the Ray Thompson basket will count, and they indicate that it will. So Thompson gets his second basket and his first foul.
Good deflection off the press. Marble makes a great pass, just a flick pass. The man moving over. Pretty good position. He may not have been there before the man had left his feet, though.
Hawkeyes, full court pressure, another steal. Marble trying to control it.
This is the stun and run offense of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
And it has worked. Iowa a moment ago down by 10, now back to within 5. And a chance to continue the run with Jepson looking to trigger. Ceballos guarding Armstrong. Again, he has a 4-inch height advantage on BJ, but is not as quick. Off the pick by Horton. Armstrong will miss. Marble underneath. Marble hits the shot. The basket will count, and a chance at a three-point play.
Armstrong got knocked to the floor, nothing called. And the Hawkeyes able to come up with an offensive rebound. Marble that time certainly stretched that shoulder up as high as he could go. Nothing seemed to be wrong with it at that point.
Pullum picks up the foul, his first, Riverside's third. Marble will be on the free throw line when play continues, but right now scored 7 in a row after falling behind 18-10. Garner will come in the next time the ball is dead. Cal Riverside, a Division II power, winning 22 last year, and they've had the lead throughout the game thus far. Vieira misses, and the ball out of bounds, and in comes Brian Garner, and out goes Roy Marble.
Well, the Hawkeyes have yet to make a shot from the line. 0 for 3. They're doing better on the glass. 6 offensive rebounds, but they've got to have them in there for putbacks, easy basket opportunities.
I think Jepson got his second free throw, Max, so 1 out of 3 from the line. The 3 missing there by Chris Jackson. Armstrong in deep on a Hawkeye break. And Iowa back to within 1 after trailing at 1 point, 18-8. And as you call this stun and run offense and defense, it has worked thus far for Iowa.
You can tell Riverside has not played against somebody like Jepson on the ball, again, deflecting it out. What you'll be able to watch is that Jepson will go on the ball, and they'll try and look for the angles. They will force the ball into the corners, and then look for a two-time there.
Next shot just the way Tom Davis draws it on his board as he tries to explain it to his team. The scoop shot missing by Jackson, and Iowa can take their first lead in the game. Armstrong is fouled, and BJ will go to the line, and that's where Iowa will try to gain their first lead. With the foul, Sean Sheehan his first.
Armstrong trying to get it going. Not been able to score in this game. There's a little flick with the ball. Trying to put it off the glass. Body contact. Sean Sheehan drawing his first.
And there's James Moses who just came in as BJ, a 92% free throw shooter to the stripe. Armstrong has had strings of 19 in a row and 23 in a row, and then he ended a 23 in a row streak, missing his first yesterday, and then hit 5 in a row after that. And Iowa has their first lead. 19-18 Hawkeyes, 11:46 to go in the first half. And Riverside now trying to get some continuity back in their offense. It was there early. They're trying to regain some composure. 34 Mike Ritter has just come in for Cal Riverside. He's out of Long Beach. And another 3 by Chris Ceballos, his first, already the 4th by Riverside. So they're going to be a threat as long as they can continue to do that. And again, that's what they look for. They look for the perimeter because they're too short to go inside.
And that's a weakness the Iowa team has shown, not identifying a team that has more than one or two good perimeter shooters.
Cal Riverside with the ball and the lead following the miss by Moses. Just under 11 left to play in the first half. And the pass goes wide of Mike Ritter, and the ball goes back to the Hawkeyes.
And that's something Tom Davis would applaud, because after you have the pressure cause some turnovers, all of a sudden you'll get a non-pressure turnover, just like that one.
Number 11 is Reggie Howard. He comes in along with Maurice Pullum. Here's Horton, a clear out on the left side. He walks, and the ball goes back to the Highlanders. Cal Riverside with only one loss this year. They're 8-1. They lost to the NAIA defending national champs Grand Canyon by 1 point after leading by 16 with 6 minutes left to play. So this is a good Division II basketball team. The left-hander Pullum missing from the left corner. And Horton with another rebound, at least 5 for Eddie already. Foul called on Riverside. Reggie Howard draws a personal.
Garner trying to come down and create something. He had Looking Bill on the left and Moses on the right. Ends up not being able to even get rid of the ball. Man just grabbed his arms.
Marble in deep, what a move. You've seen him before if you followed the Hawkeyes, and there's just another in the series. 6 for Roy. The game's tied up for the second time, even at 21. Howard finding Ritter. And virtually all the Riverside baskets come from the perimeter. Crowd thought this should belong to Iowa, but that's not the way the officials saw it. B.J. Armstrong back in for Iowa, as there's the bench of the Highlanders. Ritter in difficulty, but he puts it in. Mike Ritter's first basket. He scored 11 in the semifinals last night against Eastern Washington. He's averaging 8. Riverside leading by 2. 9:55 to go in the first half.
Good pressure by Riverside, taking away the passing lanes, leaving Looking Bill wide open.
And there's a foul called away from the ball. Sabalos picking up the personal.
Inside activity. Didn't really seem to be any more than what you'd normally expect on the interior.
Marble trying to dish off, but nobody there. Coming up with the interception, Sabalos. Howard missing the 3. And Riverside will have another crack at it.
Coach Davis talking to him about grabbing the basketball. Don't deflect it. Get 2 hands on it. Like that.
Like Wade Looking Bill just did. Armstrong the lob for Marble. Eddie tries to save it, and he gets fouled. Horton got bumped by Ritter. Ritter tried to put on the brakes, but his momentum carries him into Horton, and he picks up the foul. His first and the team's 7th.
Eddie on the end line, on his tippy toes, and gets chested out. A good call.
Can't blame Ritter for the effort, I suppose. He saw that Eddie was teetering towards tumbling out of bounds, and he tried to nudge him and not get caught.
He wanted to make sure that Eddie did go out.
Ed Horton's had quite a tournament against St. Louis last night. 13 points and 12 rebounds in the opener against Eastern Illinois. 16 points and 14 rebounds. And he has 5 points and 5 rebounds in this game. Into the lineup for Cal Riverside comes Ken Schiermeyer, a sophomore from Concord, averaging 1.2, and Les Jepson into the Iowa lineup, and Wade Looking Bill will go out.
Early on, the Hawkeyes were around 30%, and even in this run, they've moved up to just like 38% in this first half.
And this is a team shooting 53% on the season. Horton with a pair of free throws for 6 points, and the game is tied up at 23.
And again, big Les Jepson on that ball out of bounds. Again, Riverside just hasn't seen him, but he's 7 foot. Hard to throw it over.
Pullum bringing it down. And now Riverside will look for that perimeter shot. The three is left short by Pelham. Followed by Sabalos.
Nice touch by Sabalos. Used the glass, gave a little head fake to Eddie Horton.
His 8 points, leading the Highlanders in scoring. Armstrong, being harassed by Howard, puts it up and in anyway. That shooter's touch, Mac, with Howard all over him. He still found the rim and then found the bucket.
And he had the height advantage. He knew once he got the man in the air, he could get the shot off. It was a matter of trying to have him draw the foul also.
And Sabalos hits a three. His second three-pointer of the game. He has 11. And Riverside is a team already 5 three-pointers.
It's an interesting offense. Put 4 people above the green line and just fire away.
Boy, if you recruit shooters, or you have to recruit shooters to fit into this system, don't you?
It's not a defensive ball club.
Horton wheels into the lane. Iowa walking down the rebound. Marble came up with the rebound. And it will be Hawkeye ball. 8 minutes, 18 seconds left to play as Marble will now lead the Iowa attack. And Brian Garner has come in. And Shorters, who was hurt earlier and is not returned, now going to the locker room for Cal Riverside, is Ed Horton. Wheels in from the left side and gets his third basket and his 8th point.
And with this lineup, this is where you see Armstrong at the quick forward position. And Tom Davis does that for a couple reasons. It really puts pressure on the defense. That was your swim team, your Iowa swim team, here cheering on the Hawkeyes again. As I was saying, Armstrong going to the quick forward position forces the defense to look for a new place for Armstrong to attack. Totally different than when he's at the point guard position.
Reggie Howard misses. Horton with rebound number 6. Armstrong. And BJ is on one of those flurries that he tends to get into. That is his 8th point, 2 buckets in a row. And the Hawkeyes lead at 29-28. 7.5 to go in the first half as the three is hit by Pelham. The 6th three-point goal by Cal Riverside. That's what's keeping them in the game. And in fact, in the lead at 31-29. You ever seen a team look for this many three-point shots?
It must be something about Southern California, because Cal Irvine does the same thing.
And we have a timeout with 7:18 to go in the first half. It's Riverside by 2. Mac and I will be right back. I'd like to remind you that after the game, Mac and I will be naming a True Value player of the game, so stay with us for that announcement. Recounting Ed Horton's rebounds, he now has 8 points and 8 rebounds.
And 4 of those the offensive glass.
Moses has it knocked away from behind. Coming up with the block, Chris Jackson. Jackson and Moses familiar with each other. They played together in a summer league. Of course, Moses from Southern California. In deep, it is Marble. 8 points for Marble. And now all 3 members of the senior class, Armstrong, Marble, and Horton, have contributed 8 points apiece. And Riverside doing something you don't want to do against the press, passing backwards, but there they have no choice.
When you pass backwards, you also can break pressure, because then it gives you time to reset your offensive threat against the Iowa defense.
Number 20 is Pat Vieira, who started, hasn't played for a while, but has just come back in following the timeout. 35 is Sheehan, the starting center. Riverside now putting some more motion into their offense for one of the first times in the game.
Well, they held it for actually probably more than 15 seconds.
First time that's happened. In fact, the shot clock is now down to 10. They certainly haven't seen the shot clock in single digits until now. It is down to 5. Ritter leaves the 3 short. The rebound by Pullum. And Maurice Pullum has been tough on Iowa thus far. He has 2 3-point goals, 2 2-point goals, and 2 free throws.
And the concern for the Hawkeyes not getting rebounding out of the guard position continues.
Almost a steal by Riverside, but number 43, Brig Tubbs, who's just come in, comes up with the loose ball. Just under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Iowa trailing it 33-31. The Hawkeyes have had 2 short-lived leads, but for the most part, it has been Cal Riverside with the advantage, opening it early, 18-8 lead. Marble in deep, and when they get the ball into Roy Marble in that area, he's almost unstoppable.
That's a big-time athletic move. And it takes great strength in your upper body to be able to do that, show the ball 2 or 3 different times.
5th tie of the game. Pullum hits the 3. Unbelievable outside Riverside shooting by Cal Riverside. Their 7th three-pointer of the first half.
Like I said, the last time I saw this was UC-Irvine. With a man named Scott Brooks who put it up like that.
And now Iowa will send Ray Thompson, B.J. Armstrong, and Ed Horton into the lineup. As Tom Davis talks to Ryan Garner on the Iowa bench. He's joined there by Moses and Jepson. There's the coach of Cal Riverside, John Massey. What a job he has done. He's a graduate of UC-Riverside and has had this team win league championships 3 of the last 5 years. Off the screen by Horton, Armstrong. And they're going to give it to Riverside, I think.
I think they're going to give it to Iowa.
They point in one direction, now they point the other, and Tubbs will get it.
Sabala stepped on the inline as he hit the ball back in bounds off Eddie Horton, but he was already out of bounds.
John Massey, the Riverside coach, asks for an explanation. 5 minutes exactly to play in the first half. Iowa down 36-33. Armstrong, Thompson. And Ray Thompson has hit his 3rd basket. Attacking for Riverside, Pat Vieira. He is a good perimeter shooter, but you could say that about virtually everybody in the Highlanders lineup now, as it's proven right there by Chris Sabalos. Sabalos now with 14 first half points. Armstrong answers. And BJ's in double figures with 10. 8 3-point goals in the first half by the Highlanders. And the Vieira shot blocked by Ray Thompson, so he'll try a 2. And the ball's tapped up by Sheehan and followed by Sheehan.
Armstrong took a charge, nothing called. I'll tell you right now, the UCR team is just icy hot out there. Everything they touch goes up and goes in.
Icy hot. Is that even hotter than red hot?
It's hot, hot.
Marble in the lane, and again unstoppable inside is Roy Marble. He can make a living on getting the ball to Marble in the paint. He has 12 points, and Iowa back to within 1. 3:36 to go in the first half. If you looked at this matchup, you wouldn't have guessed that it might be this close. But, again, Cal Riverside is one of the top 20 teams in Division II play.
Not just this year, it's year after year.
No, perennial national title contender. Pull him! Scoops the shot home. He's got 17 in the first half.
It's pretty simple right now, Larry. Iowa's just going to have to play better defense to win this game.
Thompson with a 3. For Ray Thompson, just the 2nd 3-point goal of his career. He's now 2 out of 12 from 3-point range. Game even for the 7th time, tied up at 42. Well, Tom Davis is not going to be pleased, regardless of the offense being used by Cal Riverside to give up around 50 points in a half. Horton will get a charge call, and let's see if he'll get a basket. I think not. No basket, and Fred Horton is foul, his first.
He runs over the man before the release.
6th foul called on the Hawkeyes. And 2:39 remains in the first half. We have a timeout taken. We'll be back after these messages from our local Hawkeye swimming team. They're providing the bulk of the noise and the cheerleading responsibilities for Iowa here in Hawaii. The State of Basketball is the innovative coaches show of Coach Tom Davis. You never know what's coming as Tom visits with old friends, players, and even fans during this fast-moving half hour. It's at 10:30 Sunday nights. Be sure to witness the State of Basketball with Tom Davis. Riverside and Iowa tied at 42, 8 ties in the first half. Trying to unknot the score, and doing so is Steve Harrington with a 3, the 9th 3-point goal of the game for the Highlanders.
I'd like to go to one of their practices. I bet they just have ball boys underneath the net.
I'll bet you they do. Well, they have had very few baskets in the paint. Here's Moses coming through the back door to lay one through.
And that was left-handed. James Moses around the basket uses either hand better than anybody on the Iowa team. Get it, Larry.
Iowa back to within one as Riverside nearly turning it over, and then popping it home is Mike Ritter. I'll tell you this, the Highlanders have had everybody on their floor show touch from the outside. There are no weak links as far as ability to shoot from the perimeter, and Riverside up by 3 and a chance to make it more following an Iowa turnover.
And that play may typify a little bit of Iowa's synchronization in this particular half. Look at three-point opportunities. Iowa's got a great percentage, but the number of Riverside, 17. They put up 27 the first game of the tournament.
They're certainly not shy. Here's another 3 try by Sabalos.
Okay, what they do with that three-point play is really stretch your defense. And you're not used to going out guarding 4 people to do that. You don't mind guarding 1 or 2. The type of teams Iowa usually will see in the Big Ten will have a couple shooters. They don't have 4 like this.
Moses to the lane. 2 in a row for James Moses, the freshman from Gardena, California.
And this is a game that Moses would like. It's up and down, freer tempo. Gets him into his offensive flow.
Not much defense being played by either team has witnessed the score 50-46 in favor of Riverside into the final minute of the first half. Without looking, I would guess this is the most points I was given up in a half this year.
I believe you're right.
The shot clock is at 20, so it's about 20 seconds ahead of the first half clock, which you see in the lower right-hand corner. For just the second time tonight when Riverside has the ball, the shot clock down to single digits. It is at 7. They clear for Sabalos. And Garner comes up with a rebound.
He's got to recognize the clock. He's got 20 seconds.
3 by Moses. And Riverside back the other way in a hurry. Leading the break, Reggie Howard. Here is Ritter. Now you saw he could have penetrated. He didn't want to. He stopped at the 3-point goal and fired. That's the offense. Garner, desperation, will come up short. And at the half, a Division II power has the 4th-ranked Hawkeyes on the ropes. The halftime score, Cal Riverside 50, Iowa 40. Kind of a shootout at the OK Corral, Mac. I guess that's the way you'd have to describe it. But trailing 50-40 is 30 of the Cal Riverside points have come beyond 3-point range. What's Iowa got to do?
Well, it may be a shootout, but it's not okay with the Hawkeyes, I tell you. You've got right now defense that's going to have to be put up by the Hawkeyes. They've got to come out, extend, get a hand in the face, or even try to deny the passing lane. You can't let a great shooter go ahead and have his freedom. You give an offensive player freedom to shoot, they'll just tear you apart, put you in pieces, and then just leave with a smile on their face, and that's what Riverside's done so far. Also, the rebounding. Iowa, again, is 1 rebounder, Eddie Horton, nobody else in there. Guard support's not there, and they have gotten nothing out of the other forward position.
It's been the case in the tournament. The Hawkeyes are going to have to develop some more help already on the boards.
Well, it's already been in this tournament. You look at a close game last night, the night before they were down at halftime. This is what they're going to face in the Big Ten, especially on the road. It's going to be very difficult to come back, and now it's going to be the Hawkeyes. They're going to have to get the pressure onto the other team with that full court press, and then be able to go ahead and come down, show some patience. Obviously, the continuity has not been there either at that quarter court offense.
Oh, that's true. Now, the Hawkeyes had not trailed at the half until the first game of this tournament against Eastern Illinois. Now, for the second time in 3 games, they find themselves behind at the half and giving up 50 points, most they've given up in a half this year.
Well, there's no doubt that when Tom Davis walked off this court, he was not a happy camper. And I think you're going to find that he's going to say some things to these kids. There'll be a fire-up situation in the second half.
One of the Hurt Hawks, Michael Ingram, will join us on our next segment of Halftime. We'll be back when that's the situation Mac and I are in as Michael Ingram joins us. And Michael, you're no stranger to these things, are you?
No, that's my major in college, communications. It's in a radio, TV, and film.
What do you want to do with it someday?
I'll be like you guys.
You mean the easy job, the easy money, huh?
Oh, yeah. Relax, go to Hawaii, get paid. Yeah.
It isn't bad, is it, Mac?
It certainly isn't. One thing, Michael, about your background. Unfortunately, when you came out of high school, did not qualify right away to go to a 4-year school. Went to a junior college, but you did get out in 1 year.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have a 2-point. I was close coming out of high school, but at that point in time, I wasn't truly interested in school, and I didn't know the true value of an education. But Bobby Knight suggested to me that if I really wanted to play college basketball, that I try graduating junior college in 1 year. And I took 19 hours, 21, 21, and 19 in successive semesters just to graduate in 1 year. It was worth it, though.
And that was 2 summer schools and then the 2 semesters during the regular school year.
Yeah.
And then the opportunity, you went to Missouri and now found your happy home at Iowa, but you're only going to have 1 year left as far as eligibility athletically.
Yeah, but you find some magical numbers in one. You know, never know what could happen. Could be the best year of my life.
Good. We hope so.
Yeah, that's a good attitude. But what do you kind of have to take that attitude when you have an injury before you, like has happened, don't you?
Yeah, because if I start looking at the down points, then the 1 year I have left won't be as fun, you know, considering the fellas helped me out a lot, you know, saying keep my spirits up and everything else. And other than that, you know, everything has got to be from me, and I think I can handle it.
And when the injury occurred, you were really starting to put it together, weren't you?
That's the most disappointing part. It wasn't that I'm not as good a player as most people expected I was. It's just that I wasn't, you know, ready for Coach Davis' system. But as soon as in practice and in game situations, you know, I was getting along better and better, and then the injury came.
Michael, lots of luck to you. Hope that the injury comes along just fine. We look forward to next year.
All right. I'd like to wish my mother, if she's watching, a Merry Christmas, and also Ann Mayberry and her family a very Merry Christmas.
Okay, Michael, that saves the long-distance charges. Like we're in game, Hawkeyes down by 4 at the half, and of course, basketball has different ways of getting things done. The Hawkeye offense in the first half basically came inside.
Well, as you look at that, Larry, Iowa continually has been an inside team, where they go inside first with the outside option second. Marble, doing what he does best, has come off that block.
And he's done that about 3 or 4 times in the first half. Now, let's take a look at the way the Cal-Riverside has done it. It's been just the opposite. They have gone from the perimeter.
It's fly time from the corner. I'll tell you, this team does not take layup practice.
That was Maurice Pullum who hit that one, but so far what we've seen of Riverside is that just about everybody on the floor for them can hit from 3-point range.
And they will continue to do that. They've got great confidence in it now. They've got great rhythm. Until Iowa can take that away, there's no reason for them to change, because even if they start to miss 1 or 2, they have such confidence that Iowa's not defended it well. They'll stay at it and keep putting them up.
So the emphasis is on the Hawkeye defense in the second half, and they will try to come back from this 4-point, 50-46 deficit. The Raycom Sports Network. Larry Morgan and Matt McCausland back in Honolulu. Let's take a look at the halftime stats, and it's a real shootout.
Well, it certainly is. The percentage, Iowa shooting 54%, but what you've really got to look at is that 3-point field goal. Iowa 1 for 2, same percentage, 50, but it's 9 for 18. That's an additional 8 points they found right there. Rebounds, Iowa out rebounding, but they have not taken the glass, what you call critical times, when they've had easy opportunities and really control and let Riverside have 0 opportunities on the offensive glass, because nobody's in there. They should get 1 offensive rebound.
Most points the Hawkeyes have given up in a half. Let's see who's doing it for Cal-Riverside. And basically, it's been, first of all, for Iowa, it's been Roy Marble and B.J. Armstrong leading the way.
And earlier in the tournament, Iowa primarily an inside-out oriented team, which would mean Eddie Horton should be up there in points. He is not in this game.
Now for the Highlanders from Riverside, California, it's been Chris Sabalos, who does not start, but is an excellent performer with 17 points, and Maurice Pullum has got 16.
Well, you look at that, and Vieira got 6, and he had those in the first 2 times up and down the court when he knocked in 2 threes.
And the Hawks are not without their fans here, certainly the case. Iowa's swimming team leading the cheering, but still a lot of other Hawkeye fans and supporters here.
Michael Ingram he just stopped by after the interview, wanted to make sure everybody out there that sent him cards, letters, flowers, that he could say thank you, Merry Christmas, and hope everybody has a Happy New Year, because he really appreciates the Iowa fans. He just said it's unbelievable how many cards and letters he got. He would not be able to obviously return all of those as far as responding to it, but he did say thanks much.
Oh, that's terrific. The Hawkeyes go back to their starting 5 of Jepson, Marble, Armstrong, along with Horton and Thompson. Now, early in the game, the Highlanders lost starting forward Jimmy Shorters, who averages 10 points a game. He had a teammate hit his knee with his rib cage, and he has not been able to return. And so they will have a change as we go to the second half. Number 24 will be Chris Sabalos, who will start ahead of him. Also in the lineup, 33, Chris Jackson, 32, Maurice Pullum. And rounding it out for Cal Riverside, 35, Sean Sheehan, and number 20, Pat Vieira. Second half underway, Iowa trailing at 50-46.
I think right now you're going to find out a little bit about this Iowa team defensively, one-on-one, mano-mano, what they can do with somebody.
Vieira tries a three. That is the 10th three-pointer of the game for the Highlanders, and obviously the halftime break didn't cool him off. Vieira with his third three-pointer.
A good coaching move for Vieira. Jepson not used to coming out to 20 feet to guard somebody. They just worked it to Vieira off the motion.
With the steal underneath is Chris Sabalos. Sabalos, an excellent player. Started his career at a Division I school at Cal Fullerton, but he'd been recruited by Riverside even prior to that. And Vieira has hit his second three of the second half. They now have 11 of them.
That's exactly a duplicate blueprint of how the game started.
In fact, it was Vieira at the outset of the game hitting the long shots. Now BJ tries for a two, and the scrap for the rebound, and it will belong to Cal Riverside. So the Highlanders, a Division II power, are battling nose-to-nose with the fourth-rated team in the country. An early change for Iowa's Wade Lookingbill comes in. He takes the place of Les Jepson.
Well, Eddie Horton got that foul pushing from behind. Gave a little elbow.
His second personal foul. And it's the first call on either team in the second half. With the inbound, Vieira of Lemoore, California. He's a junior college transfer. Top 7 players for the Highlanders did not start their career at UC-Riverside. And another three-pointer, and this time it is Maurice Cullum. He now has a total of 20 points. And Tom Davis has got to change something, so he calls for an early Armstrong to get Iowa's first 2 points in the second half. And then at the other end, Ed Horton tries to knock the ball away from Pat Vieira and draws his third personal foul.
After the score, Riverside goes for the long down-court pass. Both people going for the ball. Horton bodies him, gets called for the foul. That's his third, as you indicated.
So it was a 4-point lead for Riverside at the half. Then they scored the first 9 points of the second half on 3 three-point goals. Ray Thompson going up in the crowd, and he is called for the foul as he and Maurice Cullum both battling for the loose basketball, and Thompson picks it up.
Again, lob pass situation. Both players going for the ball. Fair chance by both to go for it.
Iowa's already committed 3 fouls in the second half, and we're still at 18:35 to go. Cal Riverside leads by 11, and they've got the ball.
Obviously, there's plenty of time in the game, but the sand is slipping through the hourglass. Hawkeyes are going to have to put some pressure.
If they could pull it off, it would be a stunning upset. And with shooting like that, and the first points of the game for Chris Jackson. And that is 4 three-point goals to start the second half, and 13 for the game for the Highlanders.
Hawkeyes cannot panic. They have to stay in the quarter-court offense. It's going to be the defense that's going to get them back into the game to win it, not the offense.
Ray Thompson answers with a three, his second of the game. And Iowa's second of the game. And the cool freshman now in double figures with 12.
And the Hawkeyes are going to have to retreat.
A travel forced by Ray Thompson. As Sabalos tried to come around him, Thompson jumped in front of him, forcing the walk.
Once there's a made basket, Larry, the Hawkeyes have to get back quickly. They cannot just loaf back into position. They have to sprint.
17 minutes, 38 seconds to go. Posting up is Roy Marble, tries to spin in against the double team. He comes up with a miss, and with the rebound, Cal Riverside. Plucking it down was Chris Jackson. Jackson out of Mater Dei High School in the Los Angeles area, one of the renowned high schools for basketball in Southern California. That is Sabalos. And Cal Riverside again staying outside the three-point arc. Vieira looks for his third of the half and gets it. Pat Vieira, 5 three-pointers in the game, 3 in the half. That is now 14 for the Highlanders. And their lead is 14 points at 65-51. Almost stripped by Jackson, but Iowa gets to keep it. Tom Davis will go back to his bench. Rig Tubbs, a freshman from DeWitt, who's not yet scored, checks in.
And he will be the third power forward. Coach Davis has tried in this half. See if he can calm down Vieira.
Armstrong. Horton. And Ed Horton, who has his 10th rebound, comes up with his 10th point. What a job he's done on the board, but as you pointed out at the half, Mac, he's not had much help.
It's really been just a one-man show inside for the Hawkeyes, and it continues to be that way.
Iowa applying the pressure. Thus far, Riverside has handled it with the exception of one brief moment in the first half. A 12-point lead for Riverside and the ball. Now, one thing that I would think worked to their disadvantage, Mac, they don't have the kind of offense that can really slow it down and eat up the clock if they have a big lead.
What they will do, they will just bring it all out and do just that, run backdoor reverses out of their same offense to take time off the clock.
Thompson's block, forcing a loose basketball. The possession arrow will give this one to the Hawkeyes with 16-19 to go. Jepson comes back in for Iowa, and leaving will be Ed Horton.
Inside cut and move. Block shot opportunity by Thompson.
It's perspiration being wiped up off the floor. A 12-point lead for Cal Riverside. Armstrong off the high post pick. BJ's second bucket of the second half and 14 points in the game. This is Pullum, the only out-of-state player. He's from Chicago for Cal Riverside.
Smart play by Pullum. Called the timeout, had nowhere to go with the ball.
And he was trapped, then he took advantage of it. 15:56 to go. Get your tickets early. They're available at the ticket office at the arena. For information, call 319-335-9327.
Larry, you look at Eddie Horton, who's now out of the game. He has 10 rebounds of Iowa's 19. Other than that, Roy Marble has 3. Nobody else is really providing that strength. Now you have Tubbs and Jepson there. They both have to contribute off the glass right now.
Hawkeyes have not lost this year. Cal Riverside has lost just one, and that by a point. 15:47 to play as play resumes. Pullum looking in against Armstrong. Again, the three-point goal, the story of the night for Cal Riverside. And Vieira shoveling it back outside, chasing it down Chris Jackson.
They really run a nice weave with curl cuts down the middle if you decide to take away the passing lane. They backdoor you right down the lane.
Pullum forces a shot. And Pullum, the left-hander, puts it in from the right wing for his 22nd point. He comes in averaging 17.
Now you know the definition of icy hot.
Boy, I guess. Remember, no team has shot 50% against the Hawks this year. In fact, opponents are shooting just 41% against Iowa. So that puts this effort by Riverside in perspective. It is a superb offensive effort. Garner missing it badly, and so now Riverside up by 12, comes up with just under 15 minutes to go. Cal Riverside, a team that wasn't even supposed to be in this tournament. New Mexico State had been penciled in until October, and then they dropped out at the last moment. Pullum has hit 2 in a row.
And he's hit 2 in a row with BJ right in his face.
You know, it's not defense there. It's not poor defense. You're right. He's just hot.
He put that up like a shot put.
Moses misfires with the rebound, Sabalos, and he got pushed by Jepson. So Iowa's committed their 4th foul of the second half, while Cal Riverside has not yet been called for any. Second foul on Jepson.
And this is just the opposite way that an Iowa game usually goes. They have the other team in foul problems. Iowa has just not gone inside with any kind of continuity. They've not gotten play out of the big people inside other than Ed Horton.
Sabalos to trigger. That's Pat Vieira. Iowa with some token backcourt pressure. 14:20 left to play. The Hawkeyes trailing it by 14. Number 30 is Steve Harrington, just came in. That's Vieira and Jackson. And again, they don't have anybody who can't shoot the three-pointer. Witness Chris Jackson. 15 three-point goals for Cal Riverside. And this 17-point lead, their biggest of the game. Still lots of time, but you keep an eye on the clock, it becomes a factor. Marble in a crowd. Marble goes for the reverse layup. A foul is called, and I believe we'll have a chance at a three-point play.
And Coach Davis pointed out to the officials, that's the first foul you've called in this half. Marble, strong move on the inside. Big step, gets the ball off the glass. Really an excellent athletic move.
Harrington with the foul. That's his second personal, and that is the first called against Cal Riverside.
And the Hawkeyes are going to have to pick up the defensive tempo. One reason Brian Gardner's in the game
The officials that time not communicating very well, because one official indicated Marble would get 2 shots, meaning they wouldn't count the basket, and the other official came over and said, no, basket does count. So Roy a chance at a 3-point play. Marble has scored 20 in each game thus far in the Chaminade Classic. He now has 14 in this one. And coming out with it, Roy Marble.
Marble's frustrations kind of taken out there with a hard dribble.
That is Garner. The Hawkeyes finding themselves in a position they have not been in this year, trailing by double figures, 13:25 to play. In fact, they have barely trailed in the second half of the game this year. And
nothing but yellow shirts on the interior when Ed Horton's not in there.
Horton on the bench with 3 fouls, the only Hawkeye in difficulty. On the other end, Cal Riverside hasn't committed that many fouls at all. They have only one player with more than 1, and he's got 2. Exactly 13 minutes remain, 72-57 in favor of the upset-minded Highlanders. Harrington. And he looks like the least likely 3-point shooter on the floor, and he hits his second 3-point goal. I say that because he's 6'7", 190. Looks like he'd be more of an inside player. And a travel will give the ball back to Cal Riverside. 12:43 left to play, and the Hawkeyes trail by 18 points, and Tom Davis will have to use another timeout. Day out at home or on the road, you can always count on the great taste of Bud Light. It delivers every time. So ask for Bud Light, cause everything else is just a light. The Hawkeyes are now looking for some light at the end of a tunnel because they've been buried by Cal Riverside. The story, 3-point shooting, that the second half total for Cal Riverside. Do you believe that? 7 out of 7?
Well, that's just unbelievable shooting.
And 9 out of 10 for the half. That is unbelievable. Incredible, awesome, every adjective you could use to describe it, because nobody ever shoots that well, not even in shoot-around. But Cal Riverside is doing it.
And when Riverside came out after halftime to warm up, they went to a 3-shot drill. They didn't take layups.
Here's the left-hander, Pullum, finally missing one. First 3-point miss in the second half for Cal Riverside. Thompson fights to keep it alive and winds up with it. Here come the Hawkeyes, 4 against 2. Now they have to pull it out. Armstrong, let's go, and connects on the 3. 17 for BJ. Iowa's second 3-pointer of the second half and their 3rd of the game.
And a turnover.
Thompson
wakes up the fans.
So the Hawkeyes back to within 13. Just what they needed. Now they need to play some half-court defense as Cal Riverside brings it up.
Not some, a whole bunch.
A whole bunch. Pullum fires it inside, and banking it home is Mike Ritter.
It's a well-conceived offense. You keep wide shooters out there and then do back cuts like that.
Marble fouled on the way in. A blocking foul spotted on Chris Jackson. It'll be the first on Jackson, just the second on Riverside. So the Hawkeyes are a long way away from going to the foul line in the bonus.
Marble showing the ball, being able to step inside, going up, getting fouled. But the great thing about the Riverside offense is it only works if you have the perimeter shooters. So far they do. So far that causes Iowa all kinds of defensive problems.
Tom Davis making some changes. Garner in, Marble out. Tubbs is also left, and Lookingbill comes in. Lookingbill into Horton. Horton on the follow. Ed really getting hungry around the glass. He has got double-figure rebounds, double-figure points, all 3 games of this Chaminade Classic. And I would think it's a shoo-in for the all-tournament team. It's Cal Riverside, the Cinderella team of this tournament, the only Division II team here, and the team that wasn't added to the field until October, threatening to upset the 4th-ranked Hawkeyes. 11 minutes to go, and a 13-point lead for the Highlanders. Harrington fouled on the way in. That is already 5 team fouls in the second half against the Hawks.
Eddie Horton went out there, flashed at the man, but did not keep his feet down on the floor. And the minute Harrington saw that, he just ducked under, drove it right to the basket.
First foul on Brian Garner. Or second foul, excuse me, on Garner.
It's It's one or the other.
I think it's one. The scoreboard says one, so we'll go with that till we find out otherwise. Looking Bill out, Tubbs in at the free throw line is Steve Harrington. Harrington out of Riverside, California, really not highly recruited. Stayed home, went to school, didn't score the other night against Chaminade. And he now has 7. That was the first free throw in the second half of the Highlanders. Number 11 is Reggie Howard, who, by the way, is the cousin of the former Nevada Las Vegas great Reggie Theus, who's torn up the NBA for years and years. He's in at a point guard. Harrington with his 8th point, 10:48 left to play, and it's a 15-point lead for Cal Riverside.
Marble checks back in after just a quick little stint, sitting down, catching his breath. You've got to give Riverside credit. They are playing offense, but they are also preventing Iowa from running their offense that they want to do. They're playing very good defense on the interior.
And a foul spotted against the Highlanders. You know, you look at the Cal Riverside bench, they don't look like they're excited. They don't look like they're surprised. They look like this is kind of what they expected, and they are certainly playing it very cool and calm.
Either that or they're stunned.
One of the two. Cullen with the foul. Now the turnaround by Horton using the glass. And Eddie Horton's done a whale of a job for Iowa. 14 points and at least 10 rebounds. Coming down with it, Sean Sheehan. Sheehan, the starting center, but doesn't really play as much as some of the reserves for Cal Riverside. A 3 is hit by Reggie Howard. Do you believe this? That's the 17th three-pointer of the game for Cal Riverside. Carter answers for Iowa.
Well, last year, Howard shot 53% from the three-point range. You've got to identify those people.
Got to identify all 5 is the Hawkeye problem. They're down by 14 with exactly 10 to play. And Riverside showing no intent to slow down and eat clock. They're just pumping and hitting, and that was Pullum, and Pullum now with 26. 9:44 to go, and Cal Riverside already has 84 points. And Tom Davis teams just don't give up this many points. But tonight they've run into an incredible shooting performance. Greg Tubbs nails it. His first basket.
Greg could look for that shot a lot. Riverside really sags in, trying to take away the inside game of Marble and Horton.
This is Howard stepping up for a 3. 18 three-point goals for Cal Riverside. And the Hawkeyes are on the ropes. 9 minutes to go. Inside with the foul is Sean Sheehan.
And I know there's teams like UNLV and Oklahoma and Irvine that put up a lot of three-point shots. They're the inside game again for Marble. Once they get it inside, they seem to get fouled. Iowa can get it in there. They're only going to get 2 shots, 2 points. Every time Riverside gets it, they make a 3.
Number 20 is Pat Vieira, who has hit only 5 three-point goals for Cal Riverside in this ball game.
And I think he did it in 5 shots.
I think he did.
But I was going to finish the thought. I know other teams put up a lot of three-point opportunities, but I don't know how many teams have made 18.
Marble is 0 of 3 from the free throw line. This is a young man hitting 83% from the line and is 0 of 3 from the line tonight. Now, you can't help but wonder, and not to make excuses, if that isn't somewhat of a fatigue factor. 3 games in 3 days in a warm and humid climate. And you might say Cal Riverside faces something similar. But as you pointed out, they're from a warmer climate. They're used to warmer gyms and warmer temperatures. And again, that's no excuse, but that is something to consider.
And I think the mental aspect that they were just maybe not ready to quite play this game at the very onset.
And again, John Massey, the coach at Cal Riverside, said, we're not talking about winning or losing. All we're talking about is the great opportunity for the first time in our school history to play a ranked team, a ranked Division I team. Here's Howard. He'd hit 2 in a row since coming off the bench from three-point range. Finally misses. And inside, Tubbs gets knocked to the deck, having been fouled by Sheehan. Sheehan with his 3rd, and Cal Riverside with their 5th.
It's been a long time since Iowa's even had a chance for a rebound. Tubbs does grab the ball, position, tries to tear it away, and gets fouled.
Chris Jackson comes back in as Sean Sheehan becomes the first player for Cal Riverside with more than 2 fouls.
Can you believe, Larry? 12 minutes into this half, Iowa has 3 rebounds.
In fact, there are very few aspects of this game I can believe, Mac. Off the pick by Horton, Armstrong hits the back rim, and Reggie Howard comes up with a loose basketball. Cal Riverside threatening to make this a Christmas to remember for the Hawkeyes, but one they won't want to remember if things continue in this trend. Iowa has not lost yet, has risen to 4th in the national rankings. They isolate on the right side, but a good job by Moses to keep Jackson out. Shot clock down to 13. Shot clock at 8. Shot clock at 4. At 2. And a 3 by Jackson. His 3rd, their 19th.
That was an NBA 3.
Howard knocking it away from behind. Stealing it from Armstrong is Chris Jackson. Armstrong comes back up with it. Rebound underneath by Horton. Ed Horton working hard. 16 points for Eddie.
And don't be surprised if Riverside decides now to start milking the clock a little bit. Take off 20 or 30 seconds.
I would think the tough decision there is, do you go away with what brought you this far, though? Traveling violation called on Chris Jackson. Hawks get the ball back. 6:58 to go. They trail 90-73. Looking Bill and Thompson come in. So does Garner. Armstrong will leave, and now let's so many substitutions. We'll wait till they all get out there, and we'll tell you how Iowa will line up. It'll be Garner, Looking Bill, Armstrong, Jepson, and Thompson. John Davis looking for fresh legs as Thompson guns a 3. Ray Thompson has hit 3 3-pointers in this game. He has 8 second-half points and 17 in the game. His career high, 20 in the first game of this tournament against Eastern Illinois. So Ray Thompson, as a starter, just growing more and more comfortable with his role. 6.5 remain. Iowa down by 14. Hawkeyes still a long way to come. And again, Cal Riverside taking a little bit of time off the clock. Pullum missing it, leaving it short. May have got bumped a little bit. Thompson in deep. For Ray Thompson, the freshman from Summit, Illinois, that is a 19-point performance. Iowa now really turning up the pressure, and it forces a turnover. Armstrong with the steal. Thompson for another 3. Looking Bill. And Looking Bill fouled from behind. Foul called on Sheehan.
Thompson shooting this one. He had hit 7 in a row until that particular shot a little short. Looking Bill getting some.
Larry Morgan and Mac McCausland back at the Blaisdell Center in Honolulu, where Iowa's down by 12. They've trailed by as many in this ball game as 19 points, and that was moments ago at the 7:28 mark. Now we're at 5:52. Looking Bill to the line, trying to cut it back to a 10-point deficit. He now has 3. Last night in the clutch, down the stretch, Looking Bill 2 key free throws, and tonight these are just as important. He hits them both. Iowa back to within 10, the closest they have been since the 16-minute mark in the second half. And now a chance to pull it down to single digits as Horton comes up with the interception.
Now it's critical the Hawkeyes get a good opportunity and look for him to go inside.
Horton and Marble stripped to the ball, and he will go to the free throw line. Tom Davis applauding the effort for Iowa getting the ball inside.
Iowa's now in a position they don't have to take the 3-point shot. They can take the shot inside, get it inside, see if they can get 3 points from Marble or Horton or Looking Bill or Thompson. The perimeter offense only if it's wide open.
Sabalos with his 3rd foul. Marble has struggled at the line tonight, something he has not done all year, but he truly put that one through to give him 16 points. The Hawkeye swim team trying to push the Hawkeyes to victory. And it is an 8-point game. Closest Iowa's been since the early moments of this half. Hawkeyes setting up their full court defense. 5:42 to go. And Ceballos throws it off the legs of Looking Bill. Not sure what he really accomplished there, Mac.
Well, not having the 5-second count called against him.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
That was critical because that could have been a big turnover for the Hawkeyes. Smart play, really, on Ceballos' part. Ooh.
And coming up with it is Marble. Marble then gets pulled down by Jackson. Jackson felt he got roughed up. And then he was tripping over the leg of Marble. And when he went to the deck, he got called for the foul.
We were getting aggressive, and the more aggressive they get, it seems like the Hawkeyes get more breaks.
5:32 left. Critical free throws every time Iowa steps to the strike. And into the lineup for Cal Riverside.
Some little strategy to think about, Larry, is Iowa has committed 5 fouls this half. They would not have Riverside shoot a 1-and-1 until 2 more fouls are committed. So at some point they may want to give a foul to make sure they can foul late in the game.
Marble misses front end of a crucial 1-and-1. And a jump ball is called. The possession arrow will give this one to Cal Riverside. 5:27 to go. The clock becomes critical.
Loose ball, then the scramble. Down to the floor. Thompson came up with it.
Horton goes for the interception and comes up with it for a moment, and then it is poked out of bounds. Last touch by Iowa. It belongs to the Highlanders. Eddie Horton had the right idea, and he was certainly in the right place.
Good effort on the Hawkeye defense. You can just tell the intensity's picked up on the defensive end of the court. And it hasn't been there until just this last 2-minute period.
Hawks have cut a 19-point deficit down to 8. 5:20 now remains. At the top is Jackson. 19 3-point goals by Riverside, their story. Ceballos inside, blocked by Marble, but saved in the corner by Ritter. The 3 by Pullum.
Now I was almost going to have to pitch a shutout the rest of the way.
They are down by 11. 4:55 to go. Armstrong with a 3 try. Looking Bill with an offensive rebound. Looking Bill wants to go up again. And now the foul's beginning to mount up against Cal Riverside. They'd stayed away from the fouls, but as Iowa forces the ball inside, Cal Riverside now reaching, trying to knock them out.
Looking Bill just puts the hard hat on and goes to work on the inside. 2 strong offensive rebounds and gets fouled.
Vieira with his second foul. Ryan Garner comes in. Brig Tubbs about to come in as Wade Looking Bill goes to the line.
Brig Tubbs will come in for Looking Bill if he makes the free throws. Brian Garner in there for defensive quickness.
Looking Bill now 15 out of 19 from the line in his Hawkeye career. 3 of 3 tonight, 5 points, right at his average for the freshman from Fort Dodge. Tom Davis trying to pull his team back. They're down by 10 with 4:46 left. And Looking Bill hits another. Into the lineup comes Brig Tubbs. And out will go Wade Looking Bill.
A good job by Looking Bill. Just playing the 4 position, the power forward position tonight. He'll get back in as soon as possible, probably. Riverside is becoming a bit more tentative and looking for that shot.
And credit part of that to the aggressiveness of the Iowa defense. They are not getting the early 3-pointers. Here's Vieira trying one. And coming up with an offensive rebound, Ceballos. Big rebound for Cal Riverside right there. Maybe the biggest basket of the game for them thus far because it keeps Iowa to a double-figure deficit with 4:17 to go. Tubbs looking for Horton, but it's deflected from behind, and it is last touch by a Hawkeye, and so it's a Riverside ball with 4:11 to play. Looking Bill and Marble now come back into the attack for the Hawks. Tubbs will leave. Tom Davis gives a good round of applause. Ray Thompson also checking out as Moses chasing the ball as Pullum is double teamed. Iowa swarming to the basketball. Ritter holds up behind 3-point range. Exactly 4 minutes remain. And the 3 is hit by Jackson. He has 4 3-point goals, all in this this half. That is 21 in the game for the Highlanders. Marble tries to answer with a three, and Pullum's got the rebound. 3:44 remains, a 14-point lead for Division II team Cal Riverside. Again, the last team to be invited to the ball. They were not added to this tournament field until October when New Mexico State dropped out. Nobody expected Cal Riverside to get into the final, and nobody expected them to have the fourth-rated team in the country on the ropes, but they've done all that as Marble draws his first foul.
And now it'll be the next foul, a 1-and-1. That will just be another team foul, just the sixth. Marble reaching from behind.
With the inbounds, Chris Ceballos. He has scored 18 points. Maurice Pullum with 29, leading the way for the Highlanders. For Iowa, the leading scorer, the freshman Ray Thompson with 19. That is Reggie Howard. Now they're trying to get a little time off the clock as they get more movement and more weaving into the offense. 3:05 shows on the clock. 20 seconds show on the shot clock. Next basket by Riverside gives them 100. Shot clock is down to 5. Ceballos. And the rebound is claimed by Marble.
And you will see that every time now that Riverside gets a hold of the ball, unless they get a layup. They'll take off 35 seconds, 40 seconds.
Armstrong being fouled on the way down by Reggie Howard. Howard with his second. And the Hawkeyes have the player they want at the free throw line, one of the best in the country, B.J. Armstrong.
Obvious advantage. Now the Hawkeyes have a chance as B.J. drives, gets fouled to try and score points while the clock is stopped.
And that's exactly what Riverside doesn't want. If they give up points, they want to do it with that clock moving. Lookingbill back in for Iowa. Armstrong with 25 and 18 in the two previous games in the tournament, and now 18 in this one.
2:36 left to go. Hawkeyes down 13. Now they will have to look for some three-point opportunities.
Iowa has 2 timeouts remaining. Cal Riverside has 1 left. 19 for Armstrong. Iowa to within 12 with 2:36 to go. On the inbound, that is Jackson. That is Howard. Pullum, he's been the leading scorer. Right there to put it in for Cal Riverside is Mike Witter.
Sometimes things just don't go right. I have no idea why Pullum took the shot.
Marble missing, and a foul spotted on the rebound scramble against Iowa. In there, pushing, trying to get the rebound, Ed Horton, and he draws his 4th foul.
Eddie clears him out. Gets called for the push.
Horton, by the way, 16 points and 12 rebounds. Most points the Hawkeyes have given up this year. In fact, the first time that opponents have scored more than 80, and that was St. Louis last night. And there is a man who's trying to direct what I think you might call the upset of the year in major college basketball if it occurs.
I don't think there's any question about it. If Riverside continues to have the lead and ultimately win the game, it's the biggest upset this year, and it's one of those that go down in the history of the Chaminade tournament that seem to occur over here. It's the thing that John Feinstein writes about.
Ritter, 2 free throws, 102-86. Riverside, 2:14 to go. Horton. And with the rebound is Pullum. And another thing that Riverside has done well is rebound with a much taller Hawkeye team. A team that perennially is one of the top 20 rebounding teams in the country. Was number 14 coming into this tournament, but Cal Riverside has battled them on the glass. And now Thompson fouls. 1:53 remains. Cal Riverside got here by knocking off the host team of the tournament, Chaminade, 84-81, and then beating Eastern Washington 80-74. Now, last night, they shot 56%, were 8 out of 18 from three-point range, so this is not necessarily a fluke. They are a good shooting team. This is their game. This is not something they pulled out for Iowa. It's a perimeter shooting team. They just don't have the height to go inside. If Pullum hits this one, he's got a 30-point night. 1:53 left, 103-86. There is John Massey. He directs his team annually into the Division II NCAA tournament, which is only a 32-team affair, so that is quite an accomplishment. So to say this would be his biggest victory might be stretching it a bit. It'll be one he'll long remember if he hangs on. And with 1:43 left, the Hawkeye task becomes ever so difficult. And Zavallo hits for Riverside, 20 points.
Well, this will be an eye-opener for, I think, the Hawkeye basketball players for the work they have to do. Just a week and a half till the Big Ten season gets started.
And just one more non-conference game for Iowa. That will be Friday night at home against Southwest Texas. And then the Hawkeyes have 5 in a row on the road. Moses leaving it short. Horton with yet another rebound. And it's poked out of his hands by Jackson. Unofficially now we have Ed Horton with 13 rebounds and 16 points. 1:20 to go. Marble for 3. And Sabalos has got the rebound. It is just about history. 20-point lead, almost, well, I guess it is virtually out of reach now for Iowa. At the free throw line will be Cal Riverside as Tom Davis has seen his team play from behind all night. Armstrong with his second foul. You look back, Cal Riverside opened an early 18-8 lead. Then the lead changed hands in the middle part of the first half. Iowa's last lead came with approximately 4 minutes to go in the half. The first half, that is. At the half, they trailed 50-46. Cal Riverside the first 9 points in the second half, and Iowa's been playing catch-up ever since.
I tell you, you've got to also understand, at the beginning of the season, Tom Davis also knew he would have nights like this, or similar at least, in the fact he had so many freshmen. And one of those bad dreams came true tonight. The freshmen, some inexperience in some areas, and Iowa's
an upset, obviously, and probably, as you say, the biggest upset in the country. But a fluke, no. It's a good Cal Riverside team, a team that every year competes for the Division II championship, and it's no fluke. It is an upset, but no fluke.
It's a different type of team than Iowa sees. As we indicated, some of the California teams play like this. Loyola Marymount, UC-Irvine, UC-Riverside. You'll see a lot of points being put up by the athletes and shooters. In the Big Ten, it's more of an inside game.
Garner hitting the floor hard with the foul as Moses, his second. So Iowa will go to 10-1, Riverside to 9-1.
And it is difficult to defend people that want to shoot that perimeter shot from all 5 positions. And it just is not something that Iowa's used to. As we said, it's a learning experience for the freshmen. Now they can go home, get squared away, get their mind set on Southwest Texas, and then Michigan State into the Big Ten season.
33 points for Maurice Pullum to lead Riverside. This is Mike Ritter. He has 11. 49 seconds remain. Tom Davis, behind him, Bruce Pearl, about to see Iowa tumble for the first time. Kind of an ironic thing about Cal Riverside. Coach John Massey's children go to a Catholic school in the Riverside area. The principal of the school, a sister Marilyn, is an Iowa native and one of the biggest Hawkeye fans around, according to Massey. In fact, she's getting a souvenir of this tournament, a program autographed by Tom Davis. Horton hits the follow shot, his 18th point. Hawks will use a timeout with 39 seconds to play. They're down 110-90 and will return in just virtually all the way. They're about to post what Mac and I at least would have to consider, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree, the biggest upset in the country thus far this year. Number 55 is Scott Sallow. He's in along with number 44, Cliff Fontenette. They're in so they can experience a part of one of the all-time big victories in Cal Riverside history. And not only is Cal Riverside not beaten a top 20 team, they never played one prior to tonight.
I'll tell you, they have a well-conceived offense. As long as they can shoot and make that three-pointer, they're again going to be a national power, Division II. And Iowa exposed a weakness where they're really going to have to work on the perimeter defense. It's just that simple.
By the way, don't take our word for it. Look at the Agate lines in the paper when they start publishing Division II rankings after the first of the year, and you will see Cal Riverside will be way up there. Horton. And Ed Horton with 20 points and 12 rebounds. Eddie has had a good tournament. No question about that.
I'll tell you, there is an interesting point brought out. Jerry Strom helping us do stats. He said now Cal Riverside is going to have problems scheduling Division I teams, and he's absolutely right.
Already has. John Massey telling us earlier today he'd love to play Division I teams. Nobody will play him. Now you see why. And the clock is stopped with 2 seconds remaining. Iowa possession. The Hawkeyes suffering a stunning loss in the finals of the Chaminade Classic. Moses will trigger. And it is all over. And when the score of this one is flashed, it will reverb around the nation, a major upset. Our True Value Player of the Game, Ray Thompson, the freshman, just gets better and better.
Well, 19 points. He was able to hit that outside three-pointer. Got 3 of those, a couple rebounds, 4 steals. As you said, he does get better and better, and that will happen with the Iowa Hawkeyes. Fans shouldn't be down too much. There will be nights like this, and the Hawkeyes will come back next week, Southwest Texas State.
And Brian Garner getting cracked on the jaw in the waning moments of the ball game, putting some ice to it as he goes to the locker room. The Hawkeyes finish second in the Chaminade Classic. To show you how great an upset this was for Cal Riverside, Tom Davis with a 38-5 record in non-conference games coming into this one. But tonight it's the Division II Highlanders who post a major upset.
Well, there's no question about how big of an upset this is. It will get better.
Iowa's first loss. Final score, Cal Riverside 110. The Iowa Hawkeyes 92. Tonight's game has been brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.